What's up, everybody, and welcome to today's Kind of Funny Gamescast for October 15th, 2025. I'm Snowbike Mike, one of your hosts, and today we're brought to you by Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive, the action RPG based on the popular Solo Leveling franchise that launches on November 17th and is open for pre-orders and wish listing on Steam and Xbox PC right now. But for all my best friends over at TwitchCon, you can experience an exclusive demo at the Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive booth this weekend. And we're also brought to you by Shady Rays, but I'll tell you all about that in just a little bit. Guys, let's jump into it. Of course, today's Gamescast is a very special one. We have the XCast green backdrop here. We got the desk set up, and I got three awesome dudes to talk about a brand new Xbox product. Let's go down the list. Of course, hi, Parris Lily. How are you over on the remote side of things?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It is always great to see your beautiful face, Mike.
Thanks,
and
Parris.
looking forward to this episode. Hi, Tim and Andy.
Oh, hello.
No compliment.
Parris, what do you think about my cool new
none for you.
baseball coach Stanford jackets? Do you like this?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, I love it, man.
Thank you.
You're Coach Mike.
Appreciate that.
I saw what Lego Party tweeted at you. It's great. You're the best.
Parris, just know that if you didn't compliment it enough, he would not wear it
I would
anymore.
have checked it. I would have thrown it away.
Put a napkin on it.
Of course, welcome into Parris. I'm very excited to talk with Parris today about all things green. Of course, we also have Tim Geddes, my main man, the master of hype. Hi, Tim.
Hello, Mike. I love that you're going for this like Winnie the Pooh chic situation going on. Can you stand up? Can you show the people what we're working with here?
What do we got?
Look at that.
Look at this guy. Oh,
look at
yeah.
the color coordination. I'm
that,
liking
Tim.
that.
Yes,
you know?
okay, thank
And you're wearing
you,
the
Tim.
glasses.
Yeah, I'm wearing the
Proud of
glasses
you.
because I want to be able to see the chat today.
Yeah,
see
that's
what they're
always
doing.
good.
I'm a little too far away, lighting, and it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
I
It's a
get
small
it.
screen, too. It's,
It's
small
a-
screen.
it's
We don't
tiny,
wanna
Mike.
know about it.
Oh,
It's tiny.
Of course, down at the end of the desk, we have my best friend, Andy Cortez.
Hello, everybody.
Andy, hold it up. What are we talking about today, Andy?
We're talking about the ROG Xbox Ally X.
And you said that name right off the top of the dome. You didn't have to look at a paper
I
to
didn't
make
have to
sure
look
you
down.
got it right.
I didn't have to look down.
You nailed it. Today, your Kind of Funny Gamescast is all about that ROG Xbox Ally X and the Kind of Funny team's review of the brand new handheld. We're going to be talking all things Xbox ROG Ally X. I'm very excited about that. Of course, don't forget that this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast each and every weekday. We run you through all of the nerdy reviews, previews, and topics in the video game world that you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and of course on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, consider supporting us with the Kind of Funny membership available on Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show, Greg Way, which I'm taking over today. You'll get that later this afternoon. For a chance to be part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Superchats, and I really want to hear from you, the best friend audience out there. Are you on the fence with this product? Are you already pre-ordering it? Are you going to go into the shops tomorrow and buy it? Where do you stand on this brand new handheld coming your way from Xbox and, of course, Asus? Of course, we're an 11-person small business, all about live talk shows. Kind of Funny Games Daily was Sucker Punch talking about their next games after Yote. No, you did.
We talked about Yote's success and how
Yote's
it's killing it.
success. That's
on pace
great.
with, I think it's only second to Spider-Man 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Killing
impressive. Okay, you've been very good. And of course, after this, I sit down with Bennett Foddy. Actually, we don't really sit down. We're going to race to the top.
Amazing.
Me and one of the creators of Baby Steps will sit down, Bennett Foddy, the man, the myth, the legend, and we will race up to the top of Baby Steps while I interview him all about his experience with the game and all of his past games and beyond. So check that one out. Of course, thank you to our Kind of Funny supporters and our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney the Psalm Twining. Enough of all that housekeeping, guys. Let's get into topic of the show. Today's topic of the show is the ROG Xbox Ally X review. Before we jump in, of course, this is available tomorrow, October 16th, 2025. The Xbox Ally X is sitting at $999.99. And then the Xbox Ally is sitting at $599.99. So something to keep an eye out for.
Stopping there, we were playing me and Andy for sure on the X. We did not play on the white version. Parris, which one did you
Same.
get? Okay. So
yeah, I have the X. I don't have the white version.
Okay,
We will be talking about the Super Edition right there, the X version of this. Parris, before we start, I would like you to hit me with a little bit of the tech specs. When I talk about you, Parris, and think about you, you know the tech side of things. I want you to give me a little deep dive really quick into what players can expect tech-wise out of this machine.
In honor of Andy, period, point blank, period, or however the hell that you say it when you make fun of me. Yeah, there you go. So the Asus ROG Xbox Ally X is a 7-inch IPS 1080p screen at 120 hertz. It is VRR capable. It has a 1 terabyte M.2 SSD drive. It has 24 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM as well. What else from a technical standpoint? So CPU wise, this is the AMD Z2 Extreme AI processor in it. It does have an NPU chip as well for AI functionality. Some of what is already available is the advanced shader caching that it's able to do. Copilot beta is already available from an AI standpoint. There will be future AI capabilities that will come probably early to mid next year as well. From a hardware standpoint, it's very solid. It has clear similarities to the current Ally X that's already available, but that Z2 Extreme processor is more, along with obviously having additional RAM at 24 gigabytes and having that 1 terabyte SSD. I think I covered everything from a tech spec.
Thank you, Parris. Tim?
Yes.
For the people like me, who maybe don't know all the tech stuff, is that strong?
Oh, yeah.
Is that where we want to be, Tim?
Definitely. That is in terms of the PC handheld space that we have currently, like that is on the higher end, not the highest, but by far not the lowest. I would say that it is definitively high end.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Well,
This is high end for handhelds on the market. This is at the high end for sure.
Yeah,
I love hearing
again
that.
at the highest end, because we do have the Legion stuff that is, but again, even that is an additional $400 that we're talking about. So we're in a very much a dollar space of by hundreds. By the way, the more hundreds of dollars you spend, the technically more impressive it's going to be. Does that really matter at the end of the day, though? That might be the conversation at hand.
Well, let's
I can comment on the Xbox Ally, the white one, just so people understand some of the comparisons of it, because I have had some hands-on with it over the summer. So from a processor, it does have a Z2A chip, which everyone is saying is essentially the Steam Deck chip in it as well. So from a performance standpoint, it has the same 1080p IPS screen. It does VRR, but it only has 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, and it has 512 gigabytes for the SSD. It is being marketed to play games at 720p, but to the point as far as this review, I've not had extended hands-on time with it, so I can't comment on any performance or anything like that. And Tim already talked about the price on it. That one, or I think you did, Mike, comes in at $600, $599.99.
That's correct. Quick question from the chat. Comic Sam's writes in, Parris, expandable storage on this as well?
Interesting. So it does have a micro SD slot. I forgot to mention that, and you can put that in as well. I didn't have great success with it because the only one I had was the SD card that I had in my Steam Deck, which was a terabyte. I formatted it. I put it in the Ally X. It saw it, but for whatever reason, it was not recognizing it as a usable drive. I reached out to Xbox about it. They gave me a couple things to try, and as of us doing this today, I've not done those. So I unfortunately can't talk about expanding how that works other than it should be working. They said it should work just fine. But my SD card, I don't know if it was because I had it in Steam Deck already, something about it wasn't reading correctly, but it didn't work for me.
Okay. Well, before we get into your reviews, the three of you, I do want to go down the table because it is very exciting, especially as an Xbox gamer myself. The idea of the Xbox handheld, I've been dreaming of this for a long time. So, of course, Tim, I'll start off with you. What were you kind of looking forward to or looking really hard at over these 2-week review period? What were some of the things you wanted to hit? What are the things that you were really looking for out of this product?
I feel like it falls into three separate categories when I was looking at this device. There's the objective, the subjective, and the how much are you invested in the Xbox ecosystem, and how well does this device pay off on that investment? And in the three different ways, for me, I was looking at it objectively, does this do what it is set out to do, which is play PC games very well in a handheld fashion in comparison to other handhelds? And then the subjective is, how does it feel? How do I like the experience of it? The features that it has, the quality of the plastic itself, the buttons, all of that. Like, that's a subjective thing, right? And then there's the ecosystem of, if you've been invested in Xbox as long as somebody like Snowbike Mike has or Parris has been, are you going to be able to reap benefits beyond what other devices are offering you because of the Xbox OS? So that's what I was looking for.
I like that. Andy, I go to you. You're always talking about resolution, the visual triangle with quality as well. Big AAA titles down to indie. What were some of the things you were looking at during this review period?
I tried to focus a decent amount on the AAA experience because I know that this thing will easily play a lot of the indies that we love and care about, and I still ended up playing a decent amount of indies on this anyway because I just needed to play stuff for review anyway. But I definitely tried to dive a bit more into the AAA side than I would have on my Steam Deck because I remember what these games look like on my Steam Deck, and I am able to compare them side by side. Which ones is the difference that much higher? Am I getting, or are they just kind of not too noticeable to really be worth the money and the cost of a brand new device?
Parris, of course, you have a big hour-long review already up on your YouTube channel. I got to watch earlier today. I'm very excited for you to bring your eyes to this review as well. But what were some of the things you were looking at during your review period that you really wanted to focus on?
So it was three things for me. I wanted to test out the UI usability, right? Is it very easy to switch between the multiple digital stores and get access to the games without too much fuss going into the windows of things, right? Then from a performance level, I wanted to see how do the big AAA games perform on this device. So Cyberpunk was kind of my big use case for that. And then the third was just how comfortable was it with these handles on it, the ergonomics of it, long play sessions. Did it feel good in the hands? Because when you initially pick this thing up, it does feel heavy. But what I've noticed is when you're just using it, the weight seems to be distributed pretty evenly. It's very comfortable to use. I didn't really have any problem with that. So those are kind of the three big things that I was looking for.
I like that. Well, these three guys right here have gotten to sit down and review this product. I'm very excited. Let's get into it. Tim?
Yeah.
What do you think of the ROG Xbox Ally X? Give me your review. It's time.
I think it's an incredibly impressive piece of technology. I think that we've made a lot of strides in the last couple of years, and I think that there's been very few misses in the handheld market in terms of the big PC handhelds like post Steam Deck, right? Where we look at what Asus has done with the Ally brand, and I feel like they've really kind of found a position for themselves and proven that they got the stuff when it comes to tech and what gamers are looking for when they're buying these products. And you look at Lenovo with Legions as well, and of course the Steam Deck. And I feel like those three at the very least are putting out products that people are vibing with and are continuously getting iteratively better. And I think that a new challenger entering the field with the form of the OS, at least here, I think that's the biggest question is, does it work? Does it live up to the expectations? And I think the answer is yes, but we're not fully there. I do think that the OS, I believe in it. I believe they're going to support it. I believe it's going to iron out all the kinks. The majority of it is. I think that this is going to be a great way for a lot of people to play games. I just don't think it's as pick up and play as they might have been marketing it necessarily to people that have never touched one of these things and maybe aren't PC gamers at all, and this is going to be their entry point. I do think that there is still a hurdle to get over. Having said that, I don't think the hurdle's that big. And I think that we are getting to a point that the education of PC gaming and understanding of it all is something that a lot of console gamers are, if they're not already, going to have to get over, because this is the future that is going to come to our living rooms very soon, if it's not already. And I think that that's the OS side of it. And I think that if you've been invested in it or you're planning to invest, it's a great choice. The implementation of Game Pass right there is awesome. The storefronts all being accessible. One beautiful looking user interface that allows you to jump into your Steam collection as seamlessly as Game Pass, as seamlessly as your own games on Xbox. It just works. It's awesome. It's what you would expect. In terms of the objective stuff I was talking about, yeah, very impressed. The 1080p screen is beautiful. Having that VRR is very, very important for some of the bigger AAA games on the system. And playing things like Expedition 33, it ran way better than my initial experiences just actually playing the game on my Steam Deck OLED about a couple months ago. Again, that makes total sense based on the tech boost, but the tech boost is showing that the value of it there. In terms of the subjective stuff, that's where, again, this is totally subjective. I unfortunately am like, a lot of the little things for me that I'm like, I don't like this, so I'm not going to use this device that much going further. I don't like the feel of I love the grips, like I love the handles, like it being like a controller.
Having handles, similar to the PlayStation Portal.
It's awesome. Yeah. And I think that's actually even way more comfortable ergonomically than the PlayStation Portal. Like it feels very, very quality in that sense, but the quality of the plastic itself, I just don't like it. And talking to different people at the office, it seems pretty split. So I don't think that this is a thing of there's not a right, there's not a wrong. I just know that I'm holding it and I'm like, I don't like how this feels. The buttons were very sticky. Very, very, very sticky, very loud. I've played handheld gaming devices next to Gia as we watch Real Housewives for hundreds of hours over the last couple years, and she hasn't ever questioned the buttons until the last 2 weeks, where she was like, what is happening? This is so loud. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm playing Hades 2, you know? So that was a major problem for me for my use case of how I use this device, how I use handheld gaming devices, right? So, and also at the end of the day, the screen is so good. I'm an OLED, I'm just such a privileged little piece of shit at this point when it comes to OLED, where I just can't get over how much I prefer OLED, despite the fact that this is an incredible screen. And the resolution is the bump in playing Hades 2, for example, seeing it in 1080p running at a higher frame rate. Yeah, man, it looks great on this. So yeah. I don't think you're going to go wrong, but I do think that there is a subjective take that I would definitely suggest you go to a Best Buy and get your hands on these different things to see what you like, because it is a big investment for this type of product.
I like that, Tim. Parris, let's move over to you next. Parris, give me your rundown. Give me the review.
So, excuse me. So I've essentially had about 2 weeks with the device since I'm able to pick it up. So I've just run the gambit of all the games. Like, it's funny Tim's talking about Hades 2, because goddamn, it really stands out on this device. I love it. I'll go back to Cyberpunk, because I think that's, again, the one from a performance standpoint that people can kind of use as a bench, you know, like a gold standard of what they want to look for this game. So being able to play Cyberpunk on this, to play it at the Steam Deck preset, I was getting high 70s, low 80s, you know, from an FPS standpoint, played fine for me. I really enjoyed it. If I bumped up to the ray tracing low setting, I mean, obviously the lighting, everything's a little better, but then the frame rate dropped all the way down into the high 30s, low 40s, right? So I just kept it at Steam Deck preset. I figured I could lock it in at a smooth 60, doing it that way, no problem. Going to some of the points that Tim talked about, I actually like the feel of it. I think the grips really worked on this. Is it one for one feeling like an Xbox controller? No, but it was pretty damn close for a handheld. It felt very natural to be able to use. Like, it's funny you're talking about the noise on the buttons. I guess I never even considered that, but that Xbox button became very intuitive for me to be able to start to navigate through the various menus and get to certain things that I needed to do. I like that there's also a shortcut to the Armory Crate button right above it as well. So all that was fine. My issue, and when we step down from AAA games, when we start talking about the Silk Songs and the Blatros, and obviously even I think you could put Hades 2 in this, performance fantastic. I mean, the processor, all that in here of what it does to play video games, A+. Got no issues with that at all. My issues comes into, which I told you was my first thing. I'm always going to compare this to the Steam Deck, because I feel that Valve nailed it with the UI of the Steam Deck, of Steam OS. I press that power button. I'm in that UI. I never have to leave it to do anything. unless I so choose. I want to tinker and go to desktop. That's a choice. I'm not forced to do it. It does the job of playing video games. This boots up into the Xbox full screen experience. It mostly does everything I want it to do. Again, if I'm just playing a game out of the Xbox app, I never have to leave that experience. That works just fine. My issues comes into when I want to flip over. I gotta, there's shortcuts to be able to install Steam, the Epic Store, Ubisoft, Battle.net, stuff like that, which is fine. But now when I actually want to install a Steam game, I got to flip over to Steam and do that. The navigation, this is where Windows comes back into play and it gets a little wonky, where it
rears its ugly
works.
head.
Exactly. It mostly works, but it doesn't work 100% of the time. And I knew this going in. I had talked to various people at Xbox over the summer, and they pretty much knew that, hey, it's not going to be 100% perfect at launch, and it's not. There is still a lot of work that needs to be done from a Windows usability UI standpoint. But that is the big difference right now between a Steam Deck, which plays all my games just fine. Whereas if I had to choose, I'm still going to probably choose that over this currently because of the Windows portion of it. They got to fix that even more. Whereas when it works, it works. But when it doesn't, gosh darn it, I got to go to the desktop. God, I got to install like Discord as an example. I got to go to the desktop to install it. It isn't being pulled in as a shortcut into the Xbox full screen experience for me to easily access it. It eventually will, but it isn't today. GeForce Now, ironically enough, I was able to install. It shows up as a shortcut, so I can actually access GeForce Now pretty quickly through there, which is great. These are the things that they still need to do. The third-party applications, the other digital stores, to make them synchronize more with just using it with the joysticks, with the buttons. And I never feel like now I'm back into Windows. I'm back into the desktop. I have to go to the desktop to do this. Updates. I think that's another big one. I talked to an engineer about this. Like right now, I don't know what your guys' experience was when you got the handhelds, but I had to go pick it up at a secret location. And we essentially, because it was pre-release, I mean, it was damn near 2 hours of updates between having to go to the Windows updates, go to the Armory Crate updates. It took a long ass time to update everything. And my whole question was, and this is where I bring Valve back into it again, and even a console, the updates, it say, hey, you need an update. Okay, press the button, it updates, restart, I'm good. This one, is it going to do that? Because it doesn't today. Right now, if I want to update Windows or Armory Crate on here, I have to manually go to those things and ask it to update and do it. So they got to get to a point when I'm in the Xbox full screen experience, which is a mouthful to say. They've got to find an acronym for that. But when I'm in that Xbox experience, it prompts me, hey, there's new Windows updates you need to do. Press the button. It just does it in the background, restart or whatever. They're not there yet. But with all that said, of my little nitpicky complaining about stuff, it plays video games freaking great. And I see the future potential of this. That's what I'm saying. It is in the 90 percentile there, but that's still that 10% they still need to fix. And like I said, they're aware of it. They know they got to continue to iterate on this. And I'm curious what you guys think. Isn't this kind of like a early alpha look at the next generation of Xbox? I kind of think this is where they're headed with all of this when they're talking about their next generation hardware, having open platforms, Windows being the best place to play. This seems like an early look of this is where they want to get to. This is where they want to get when next gen hardware is ready as being a true 1.0 product. Whereas this one with the collaboration with the Asus, great hardware, software still needs some work from a usability standpoint, but from a once I'm in my game playing standpoint, I have no issues at all. I thought it was great.
Undeniably, I think you're right there. And also, they've already said 2026 that this experience is going to be coming to PCs and other handhelds. So, yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that later.
Now, Andy, I know you have the least amount of time here on the panel out of the three of you with it, but I still want to hear your impressions, your reviews so far, because you got some things I'm looking for.
Yeah, for reference, I was approached. Greg was originally supposed to be the one doing this, and then he, about halfway into his review period, hit me up and was like, hey, can you actually play it? Because the day you're reviewing it, I have to go do something. So, and I was like, oh, okay, shit. But then I also went to LA over the weekend, and Greg was like, and don't travel with it. I was like, totally understandable, because you busted shit out on a plane, and Phil Spencer. I was joking with Blessing that Phil Spencer would be the air marshal and tackle me on the plane. So I lost a decent amount of time there, but I try to get as much time with the device as possible. I think going into it, this I'm somebody who has not a whole lot of expenses in life, right? I don't got a car payment, Mike. I don't got a kid. I don't got a wife. I'm very much like, I like to buy shit that I want, even if I don't need it. I have a lot of stupid shit in my house. I love wasting money, Tim.
I love that about you.
Retroid Pocket Flip. I was like, oh, cool, I'll get that thing or whatever. This felt like a surefire purchase for me. As somebody who always wants the next best, greatest thing ever, and as somebody who plays a lot of Steam Deck and has a whole lot of time with experiencing, yeah, but I don't want to play that on the Steam Deck because it kind of looks like Garbo now, and I'd rather play it on my PC. But I'm in bed, so I'll just play this. I'll play Hades 2 or Silk Song or whatever sort of indie titles out at the time that runs better on the Steam Deck. I thought this would be a surefire purchase for me, and it's just not right now. I can't justify it. Anytime I hold it and then I pick up the Steam Deck, I'm like, oh, you are so much nicer to hold. Your buttons feel so much better. My Y button keeps getting stuck, which I think is just a me issue.
No, I'm having a problem too.
While playing Hades, you hold the Y button to cast, and then your character, you charge up your Omega special or whatever. So many times I died because my character stayed doing the charged Omega special, and I would just stay in place while doing it. It just got stuck right there. So the Y button getting stuck, I hope that's maybe just a me issue. Maybe it's the moisture in San Francisco, Tim.
Maybe it is.
Tim is, or Greg is like, why are you fucking like drinking Mountain Dew and spilling all my shit? Like, no, I didn't do anything to your stupid controller or to your stupid thing. I had it in your stupid bag, Greg, and we had an argument about it. This felt like it would have been a surefire thing for me to buy. I love the latest and greatest stuff. I love for my games to look amazing, especially when they are in handheld mode. And they do look good. I just cannot justify that price trade-off. I'm playing an embargoed game right now, and it's running fine. I just think there's way too much tinkering required as somebody who loves to tinker. I love getting in settings, but I also do love the ease of Steam Deck just going, and I'm ready to rock. When I turn this thing on, I immediately met with it turned off. Maybe the battery died? I don't think the battery died. It was like at 80% charge. I immediately met with a Windows screen that has Greg's picture and it's half cut off. I don't know why that is. But yeah. Why is it so immediately I think from a presentation standpoint, this is just not an appealing device. Like this does so many things wrong, I think, to make the user feel like when you're a kid and you get home to open up the brand new console and it's like, oh, I can't wait to set this whole thing up. It's not friendly to look at or to use. And I think the Xbox experience has a shit ton of work and maybe one extra year to cook. But when I finally log into this thing, I'm playing Ball Pit right now. A lot of it comes down to just time with the device, but I'm constantly hitting the wrong damn button. I'm always hitting the settings thing that opens up something else and it takes me out of the game.
That is a good point. The placement of the start button is in a bizarre spot.
Yeah.
Because above the start button where you're just instinctively would think to push, there's another button that is, what's that do?
When I hit it, it just takes me out of the game and it takes me to the Xbox library. I think it's like an Xbox library button. Everything from the iconography
it takes you to the library.
Yeah. Everything from the iconography where, the icons of the games on Xbox get the nice, cool, full art. And anything Steam-wise it looks like I just downloaded a shitty emulator and like it just doesn't pull in me, the user that like should easily fuck with a device like this. I think that the amount of tinkering to be had with Asus's Aorus, what do they call it? What is Asus?
Armory Crate?
Armory Crate, sorry. Opening up the Armory Crate to kind of mess with changing the resolution and stuff like that. I just think this device is such a niche product. For you have to be able to afford the thing because it's very expensive, and you have to be like in the market for somebody who's down for a not super friendly user experience. All these things can get worked on. I could see this experience being much smoother and much more appealing to the eye as somebody who like, I like the way the PlayStation UI looks. I like the way my Steam Deck UI looks. As basic as the Switch is, it's just like it's there and it's ready to rock. I love tinkering. I think this requires way too much for the normie. I cannot recommend this to any normie at all. Like,
can I jump in on what you're saying, Andy? Because I'm assuming, Mike, you're going to get to the whole price thing at some point anyways, but I think this is a good time to discuss that. That's kind of my issue. Look, someone got mad in a comment when I said $999. Why aren't you saying $1,000? So $1,000. I'll say that. When it costs $1,000 for this Xbox Ally X, it is very hard for me, especially in this current climate, to recommend that if you already have a Steam Deck, if you have the previous Ally, right, or Switch 2, it's hard for me to say, go spend $1,000 for, yes, it does have more performance, but is it enough performance that it's that noticeable to you to where it's worth that price difference, right? Not to mention everything that we said right now from a usability standpoint with Windows, all the tinkering that you still have to do, unfortunately, it's tough. Look, if you can afford it, people are going to run out and buy it. I'm not telling no one how to spend their money. If you can afford it, knock yourself out. I don't think you're going to regret it, because obviously it's going to play your games, at a very high performance level. It's just for people that have already invested into another handheld. Is this a big enough leap to now upgrade to the next handheld at that price? That was the one thing when they finally announced the price. I was like, damn, if this would have come in at the X, I would say at $799 or something, right? I think it would be a little easier to swallow. But at $1,000, it's tough. You really have to think about, is this device worth it to you?
And I think real quick, I think I would have, maybe enjoyed the experience more had I had a couple of more days with it, and that's just my situation. So apologies there. But when I talk about getting into the settings, people who watch my streams, people who watch Kind of Funny streams, they know I love getting into the settings and I love messing with everything to get everything pitch perfect. But when I get in bed to play my Steam Deck, I don't really want to do that. And the amount of, first off, if you're an RE Engine game like Monster Hunter Wilds or Dragon's Dogma 2, I've accepted you're not going to look good or run good on anything ever. Like, those games will just always look a certain way, and those games looked awful on my Steam Deck. They don't look a whole lot better here, nor do they run a whole lot better. And the amount of balancing act of finding, okay, well, I'll drop it from 1080 to 720, but then I'll do FSR quality instead of FSR 3 balance mode. Maybe, okay, I'm getting a bit more frames there, but I'm still like in the high 40s now. And then you try to get the most frames, and it's still a blurry, noisy mess in a lot of cases. It's just, I'm not seeing, when I turn on this AAA. First off, Battlefield 6 still won't open on this. I don't know why. It just refuses to, and I'm sure there's maybe some update. It did
for me.
Yeah, I tried, and I had Greg do some stuff, and then kept on trying to open it, and it still won't. So I have no idea what's wrong there. But yeah, it's a bummer, because this is like something that I was really, really looking forward to and thinking. I've had the Steam Deck for a while, and it's starting to show its age with these newer, more modern games. I will say a game like Chronos looks and runs pretty damn good. Turned on like the ray tracing stuff, was getting around like 40 frames. I've been impressed with some of the things that it can do for sure. I think it is still a powerhouse in a lot of ways. I can't justify that $1,000 price.
Yeah. I do think that for the conversation of the tinkering side of things, I am a bit surprised with what the point seemingly of this device from the Xbox perspective and not just from the Ally perspective, because there's been Allies for years. I did think it was going to be less tinkering required than it is right now. Having said that, there's two things in my mind. One is we have had the Steam Deck for years now.
Yes.
Steam Deck's Steam experience, the full screen experience, they've been iterating on that for so long to get where we are that we are just more used to it. So I do think that sooner than later, once this is in people's hands and they're addressing the updates, I imagine that within a couple months, that a lot of these problems are going to be moot. Where we're at right now, though, where we're talking about right now, we're just saying there are some problems there.
I foresee a lot of situations where whatever game you're going to want to play, you look up best.
Absolutely.
Look up Digital Foundry's best settings for Xbox Ally X or whatever.
But I do think that is a reality we're never going to get away from with these handhelds. Like, you cannot expect a handheld, no matter how expensive it is, to play games perfectly. Like, you're going to need to do some tweaking. You're going to need to find a guide to optimize the game you're playing the way you want to play it. So I just want to say that's true on any of these devices.
My problem is it's not only in game settings though. It really is like the Asus I keep on forgetting Armory Crate experience. Like that being this additional UI element that throws more terms at me in terms of like, you could change the resolution on the fly here. You could turn on AMD RSR, which is like their rescaling thing. And you're constantly going like, I'm stuck between options.
But it has systems there where you can have one override the other. So it's like this is one of those things, the familiarity that I think over time, it's like, yes, it is overwhelming right now. But once you understand it and once you just are living with it, I do think a lot of these problems will iron themselves out.
And I'd be totally fine with all of the little nitpicks I have with the UI and all the, kind of finicking you have to do with the device. I'd be totally fine with all that if the games looked sharp as fuck and they were running at 60, but they just don't yet. Like I'm having to make a lot of sacrifices and still run stuff at 720p or 900p. Like I'm still having to, make some sacrifices in order to get what I want visually and performance-wise out of it.
And then in terms of the systems, the tinkering, it's like I do think that jumping into it, the tinkering on Windows is inherently going to be a better experience for more people because more people are used to Windows than they are Linux,
100%.
right? So I think that if you've never used the Steam Deck and you've never used this, I think more people will have an easier time getting in here. But that's just stats and numbers there. That's like not a good thing because it's still not easy. And going back to what Parris was saying about the price and like, is it worth the upgrade? I think definitively this is not worth an upgrade. If you have a PC handheld that you are happy with at all, I would not recommend this product. If this is your first time entering this space, I do think that the value is there if you are dedicated into the Xbox PC ecosystem and are planning to continue to be that. If you are way more of a Steam gamer, I don't know. I really think that the Game Pass side of this like comes back to it. And there's ways to play Game Pass on Steam Deck. And who knows, maybe next year or beyond that, this whole Xbox experience will be even more native on the Steam Deck, right? That would be the dream for people like me and you, I think. But I do think that this is a product for a group of people. And like you say, it's niche. I do think that it is niche, but it's sizable. Like I think that there is an audience that I do think this is a good product for, but that person is not upgrading. That like I'm with you where I like the new thing. I like buying the new thing. And I was saying this earlier, but it's like I have this review unit. I'm going to give it to someone at Kind of Funny. Like I want someone else that maybe doesn't have a Steam Deck that they're happy with. Like, and I think that they will be happy with it, but it's not for me.
Guys,
so I wanted to jump on something Andy said. I was trying to wait till he was done.
Oh,
you
also,
were talking
real
about
quick, back paddles
optimization.
suck. I hate the back paddles. Back buttons.
Yeah, I don't use them either.
I don't like the placement.
But as far as optimization goes, they are rolling out the badges for the games to let you know if it's been handheld optimized or if it's mostly optimized, which if it's mostly, you got to go in and tinker, with the settings or whatever. So they are trying to give people an identifier for these games to let them know how they'll run on the handhelds.
I love that. But yeah, just real quick. Sorry.
don't worry.
The placement of the back buttons, I think like suck. And it's
just way into
I just hate them for video. Like every good back button experience for me has always been right where the controller meets the grip. Yeah, where the grip meets the controller, and like it's just off enough to where it's annoying. It doesn't feel good to hit. It's just it feels like an afterthought. Like they were like, shit, we forgot about the back buttons. Grab that piece of plastic and toss that shit on there.
I want to hear more about your experience with the ROG Xbox Ally X and our review and impressions right after a word from our sponsors. There's just 1 month left until the launch of Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive, the action RPG based on the popular Solo Leveling franchise. I adore Solo Leveling. I've seen every episode, and this game cannot come at a more perfect time as I patiently wait for the next season. And being able to experience this world solo or with up to 3 of my friends for some co-op raids is right up my alley. Andy, if you're listening, we'll be playing this soon. In the game, players will work their way up as Sung Jinu, an E-rank nobody that no one wants in a raiding party, clawing their way up to becoming the powerful Monarch of Shadows. If you're at TwitchCon this weekend, you can play an exclusive demo at the PC gaming stations located at the Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive booth. Attendees will also be able to experience additional activities at the booth, including a themed photo booth. For fans viewing events from home, head to the official Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive Twitch channel, which will be live streaming from the booth. Pre-orders for Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive are live now, so add it to your Steam or Xbox PC wishlist to prepare for Jinu's next chapter.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium, polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange them for a new pair or return them worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Y'all know that Tim Geddes has been outdoors a lot playing Pokemon Go, and he's been rocking his Shady Rays the entire time. Awesome to see him out and about looking dope. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's 300,001 if you include Tim.
Welcome back, everyone. Now that we've gotten the top-level review impressions out of the way, I want to dive a little bit deeper, and this is where I really encourage all of our audience watching live and on Twitch to get involved in the conversation. If you have questions, you have concerns, you want to know more about certain areas of this product, now is a great opportunity to, of course, put in your YouTube super chats, get involved in the Twitch chat. We will pull some questions in here, just like More Hammer wrote in on a super chat, and this is one I really want to know. Morehammer writes in and says, mine's coming tomorrow. I'm very excited. I'm in for the new simple Xbox interface and all the storefronts, etc., being in one place on my handheld. Of course, Parris, you brought that up, the Xbox full screen experience, right? And that is the big one for Xbox gamers who are maybe really deep into the ecosystem, seeing all of that now on a PC handheld, but then also the balance of jumping in and out of things. You guys have talked about it on the review and your impressions so far. Let's start off first with the Xbox full screen experience. Andy kind of talked about booting it up and being not really impressed with the, wow, I'm getting entered into this Xbox experience as I thought it would be, right? Of like, day one of opening a console, what kind of fun can I have? What is it like being in the Xbox ecosystem first before we jump to other storefronts?
Well, it's got a look to it. It's got that Xbox look to it, which I don't mind. I think it can be appealing. I just don't know if it's completely being married in a good way visually with the other systems it's trying to implement, with Steam and with the other storefronts that you're trying to bring in here. Like, I don't know. It's just like a lot of my opinions on it are just completely subjective, like all opinions are. But when I look at the way that this looks, it's like I could see the future here for sure. And I agree with so much of what Tim and Parris were saying. I just don't think we're quite there right now. Now, you as the purchaser has to go, well, do I try to support this now in hopes that there is a future? But also, like, you're not some small startup, like, you know, fucking figure it out. Or do I wait for the version 2? Like, for me, I see myself as, I want to see what the second version of this device looks like. And I want to see what this Xbox experience looks like in 6 to 8 months. How are they going to improve this based on feedback? How are they going to make this I keep using the word appealing because I just don't think this device is like fun or good to use. Like it just doesn't look good when I'm looking at what the software is. And I don't know. It's just that's coming more from a like if you put this on display at Best Buy, I don't think you're looking at this and going like, oh, cool, I gotta have this.
You bring this up is interesting because I do think there is a conversation to be had about this being an Xbox product and that like reviewing it that way, but then also just reviewing this as a ROG ally, right? And I think that like for you, like, oh, wait for the next one. It's like, well, this is the next one, and there's just going to continue to be next ones. And it's like, I think they've already proven themselves, like with their last 2 iterations even of the Ally. That
it's possible I'm just not an Ally dude. Maybe,
yeah, and again, I'm coming to grips with that myself too. Of just like, yo, it's there, and like I do like seeing all the software stuff. It's like most of what we're talking about, like I would bet on being ironed out and fixed very soon. But at the end of the day, if we don't like the base of it, which I'm aligned with you on, I'm like, okay, well, there's no fixing that. It's like there's just inherent things we prefer somewhere else. And there are other products that we can jump to. And I think the Steam Deck OLED for the two of us is where I'm going to continue to play, because while I was playing this for a review, a lot of like for just a direct comparison, I'm playing Hades 2. And while I was playing on this, I had my Steam Deck OLED next to me and I'm like, I wish I was on that from an experience standpoint, despite the fact that it had higher resolution and better frame rate.
Right. And you're a lot higher on the screen than I am. For me, it's less of the screen visual quality. I just think it's too small or the bezels are too big. Like, I mean, they kind of goes together, but I hate seeing the tall bezels on top. It just feels like more can be had here visually. And apparently Asus just didn't want to drop VRR, which I think is kind of understandable. You know, you want your screen to be able to refresh whenever your game is dropping frames, and you won't have screen tearing, and all that makes sense. But I still would prefer the OLED Steam Deck screen for like any day over this.
Parris, take me through the Xbox PC gaming side of things with the storefront. Are all of my games there that I've collected over the years? Of course, on the PC side of things, we know it's not the console side, but like, what does it look like here from a user's perspective as well from you, Parris?
I think you guys can see it on the screen, but this is clicking the Xbox button. It brings up the shortcut, and you can see at the bottom, those are all the digital stores that I have installed right now. They show up right there. You even see GeForce Now there as well. So I have Steam, I have Epic, Battle.net, Ubisoft Connect, and did I say GeForce Now already? GeForce Now, GOG. But anyways, once you have the game installed from here, the games will show up in the Xbox app under the library, and you can launch them from there, and they play just fine. That's not an issue. And anyone that's already using Xbox Insider has already experienced this, because you can do it on your desktop today and on other Windows devices. What I'm having, it's not an issue, but I wish it was working 100% of the time, where I feel like it's working 75, 80% of the time. Say I launch Cyberpunk from the Xbox app. It'll launch. Sometimes Steam, you'll see Steam pop up. Sometimes you don't. Yeah. Then the game will launch. I'm playing it just fine. Now, when I exit the game, sometimes it'll just exit clean and I'm right back into Xbox. Sometimes it just dumps me into Steam. So now I'm in the Steam app. So now I have to navigate through that and close it. You can do the Xbox button and close it and all that. But like I said, it's not seamless, I guess is the point. Same issue happens if you do it with Epic, GOG, etc. These stores, they will connect to these stores. You can install the games. You can play them. Fine. But it's not 100% just a seamless navigation if you want to use the Xbox app as your primary way, because obviously by default it's going to launch, which you can go in the settings and change. If I wanted to just change this to Steam and have it boot with big picture mode, I could if I wanted to. But the whole point of this is we're using this like it's an Xbox device. I want the Xbox experience, but you're also telling me I can import other digital stores to play my games. And like I said before, it mostly works, but then there's times where it doesn't work. And now I have to tinker around to close it. The whole point of them partnering with Asus for this Xbox full screen experience is this is currently the only device where it will disable the desktop and any other unnecessary resources, right? So you're getting more performance using that way. But what happens is when these wonky things appear, now I'll have to close the desktop. And if you do that to get back to using all the resources, you have to restart the entire device to do that, which, look, I'm okay with, but you don't want to have to do that, I guess is the whole point that we have here. So kind of going back to what Tim was just talking about, I'm very curious to see where this is 6 months from now as they can continue to get feedback on this and iterate on it and resolve some of these issues. It's just unfortunate that at launch, we still have them. And I think that is going to be a deciding factor for people today if they want to get it. Sure, the enthusiasts are going to run out and buy day one regardless. But I think someone on the fence is going to see this and are going to go, maybe I want to wait. And then go to something else that Andy was talking about as far as Asus and the hardware itself. I think with the Switch 2 and what Lenovo's been doing in MSI, look, I'm getting a little spoiled on having these bigger screens, right? In a perfect world, it's an 8-inch OLED screen. Asus obviously decided to not do that with this hardware, but you got to assume other manufacturers will. But we're probably not going to see those devices until next year at the earliest, right? So then do you wait and see what other manufacturers are going to do, give Microsoft more time to fix the Windows experience on these? There's a lot of what ifs, I guess, is the point of, sure, if you just want the latest and greatest because you just got to have the latest and greatest, you already pre-ordered it and you're getting it tomorrow. But I do think there's going to be people that will look at just some of the little quirks that this has, and maybe not necessarily being an Asus guy, they're probably going to hold off on this.
So for the three, I feel like we've already kind of made it clear, but I don't want to put words in your mouth, Andy, of where me and Andy stand on this. But Parris, like, would you recommend this product to people if they don't have any handheld gaming device, PC gaming device, and they're interested in getting into it? And if not, with your vast experience with these things right now, what would you recommend? Or would you recommend holding off?
This is what I said when I did a review on my channel. I go,
and what's that channel, Parris?
Man, don't do that. I don't remember. It's youtube.com, something Marcelo 696. Just search my name.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just type in Parris Lily. It will pop up.
I freaking suck. No, but this is what I said when I did a review. For me, I'm not buying the Ally X at this price because I would prefer the Steam Deck. And the Steam Deck obviously is cheaper, and enough of my games are already on Steam that would be my handheld of choice today. So if someone were going to ask, well, what would I do? That's what I would do. I think there are still enough quirks with Windows that I would want to see more of those things resolved before I run out and go spend $1,000 on this. And the fact that I don't have the Xbox Ally to compare performance and all that, because that is essentially the same chip as the Steam Deck, but it is $400 less than the X. I don't know if for real world games beyond the ones that were curated at Gamescom, if that's worth it for me. So I guess long-winded to say today, if I had to go spend $1,000 on this, seeing what the current state of Windows is on this device, I'd wait.
Second question, Parris Lily, you have a Steam Deck OLED. You currently have an Xbox Ally X. They're both sitting in front of you.
Yes.
You're not talking about price. Which one are you picking up?
Steam Deck OLED.
Says it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jens FC writes in and says, I had pre-ordered this, but then canceled it when I found out that you will be able to install this experience in the upcoming 8.8-inch OLED Lenovo Legion 2. I want this UI so bad. So parents, other handhelds will be getting this experience as well for fans out there that are really looking for kind of the Xbox full screen experience as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and I do want to go back to what Tim just said really quick. If I'm an Xbox guy, I'm fully invested in the Game Pass, that's where my library is, then you're probably going to want to go get it, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're using other digital stores and all that, And again, if you're mainly a Steam person, the Steam Deck, again, from a usability standpoint, is still the preferred device, just in my opinion, and it's cheaper. So you have to factor that too. But to what you were saying, Mike, I mean, they're doing enough right that I like the device, but there's still enough there that I'm just, is this something I want to do today? It's still a waiting game. But like you said, it's other devices are going to get this experience. And is that the hardware that I prefer to use, right? And by then, they probably resolved these issues, you would hope, with Windows. So,
yeah, when Tim brings up the question, what would you recommend to a brand new user or whatever? There's a couple different factors for me that would go into my recommendations, but I think kind of slowly divorcing myself from the really expensive Game Pass monthly fee, like that's making me like, if Game Pass never went up in price, or not ever, but like if it didn't have this most recent big ass price hike, then I could be like, well, you'd get a lot of like Xbox games as well. But with that happening, I would say like, all right, well, where's your library at? If you have primarily most of your stuff on Steam, then go with the Steam Deck. If you're trying to install stuff from Xbox and you don't want to tinker with going into the desktop mode on the Steam Deck, maybe the ease of use of Windows and the familiarity of Windows would be more, more along your, or more up your alley. But yeah, I think Game Pass going up in price really just, it's almost like the stake in the heart. Like that's the last thing I needed for me to go like, oh shit, I can't really recommend this at all now.
O Prime writes in and says, why haven't they just portabilized the Xbox Series S, baked it into a handheld? Isn't that what Xbox gamers wanted out of the handheld? Console handheld, not a PC handheld?
I don't think
is that old, Tim? Is that the old way of thinking now that we've moved into like you have everything now in these PC handhelds that can do what the console is doing and more?
I think it's just more Xbox's vision of where they're going. Like they're done with that type of console. It is moving to PC, and this is the first official hardware step towards that.
And we have very different situations. So this is me speaking from personal experience. Your situation may be completely different, but Dean Morrison brings up a great point that Parris was mentioning earlier as well. The GeForce Now kicks ass on these handhelds. And before, when I was trying to play Baldur's Gate 3 and it ran and looked like shit on my Steam Deck, just like Dragon's Dogma 2 ran and looked like shit, now having this, really, really competent cloud service that I get to play my games and they can look and run a lot smoother. It's like, shit, maybe I don't need a handheld that can run, and that's only when you're around Wi-Fi. I understand not everybody has those capabilities, but that's just from my perspective. Like,
me too.
Maybe I don't need a handheld that is the most powerful thing that can run natively Cyberpunk at this frame rate with these visuals. And if I could just use my GeForce Now and have things run just as nicely, it's like, shit. Maybe I'm just always getting the cheaper handheld that can run the indie games well,
So yeah, I'm with Andy there, where to me, again, use case, and whenever it comes to any tech product, or subscription service, I always go, what is your use case? Because nothing else matters then, is this for you or not, right? And like, are you actually going to get use out of it for yourself? And to me, thinking about my use case for a handheld device, majority of the time, it is either trying to play indie games or try to play AAA games via GeForce Now or a similar thing like that. And I've had amazing experiences with that. The only other thing is when I'm traveling, when I'm on airplane, and I want to play a game. Yeah. And that to me is obviously a much smaller part of the gameplay I get out of the device. So I need to decide, am I trying to play these big AAA games? Because right now, at the point that we're at, and I don't think we're anywhere close currently to GeForce Now and cloud-based things being accessible on a plane, unless the Starlink thing takes off and it actually works. We'll see. But we're out there now.
I just used that recently.
On a plane?
Yeah.
Did you try like?
No, well, not. But I was just like surprised that it was free.
Oh yeah. Were you on a United flight?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're rolling them out. All United flights are going to have it
Yeah,
going
I
forward.
did
for
it
free.
too. Yeah.
When did this happen? That's
It
crazy.
started, like, I think last November, and
So I
it's
was,
been
like,
rolling out.
Trying to log into the bullshit. I was like, oh, it's just on. What
They should
happened?
give me my $8 back.
Yeah.
Give him a lot of $8
Come
purchases.
on, man.
So many $8
I'm a silver
purchases.
member. Give me.
But then it goes down to me where it's like, cool, the premium feel of the Steam Deck, which I have my problems with the Steam Deck as well in terms of button placement and things like that. But the feel of it, the OLED screen, the 90 frames per second. When I'm using GeForce Now, I'm playing Expedition 33. I'm like, whoa, this is absolutely incredible, right? And
Yeah.
so to me, it's like, all right, what's the thing I'm not getting? It's all right, playable AAA games when I am on flights, which I do think this is better at. And like that's kind of is that worth the premium price? And to me, I'm like, no, I'll just play more smaller games when I'm on a plane,
Okay,
you know?
okay.
Or make the concessions necessary with looking up crazy ass YouTube things of like change all these settings and it looks like shit, but it's playable.
Are you running on cloud right now, Parris?
Yeah, I'm literally doing GeForce Now. This is pulling up Cyberpunk on GeForce Now.
Dude, it's
And,
you,
yeah, it
man,
works great.
it's crazy. What, like, you asked me a year ago how I felt about cloud gaming and whether I would want a handheld device that could play the best. Like, I'm just on the opposite side now, where like I've seen what really, really good cloud gaming can do, where I feel like in the past it's always been kind of lacking, and there's been enough to bother me with response time and with visuals and artifacting of visual quality. But like I've completely just sort of flip sides there, where it's like if my handheld can play my indie shit, that's kind of all I need right now.
Yeah, I mean, to add, and I know you guys talked about it during the Gamescom time as well, but when I was out there with NVIDIA and to get that Blackwell update for GeForce Now, dude, it's a RTX 5080 in the cloud. That the quality that you're playing all this stuff, 4K, 120 frames, and all that, it's amazing where that technology has gone.
Yeah.
Willie D writes in and says, Tim, did you and the crew try using the X-Real 1 Pros with the handheld? Any issues? Looking forward to use this while traveling.
So I forgot to test that. I had it on the mind, but I forgot. But I had my X-Real Pros here, so I just ran and grabbed them. And if you were watching, you might have seen me. I literally just put them on. I just plugged into Andy's right there, and it worked.
Let me see it.
Yeah, it worked
That's
perfectly.
cool.
Like this is
So it's simple
amazing.
as plugging in.
This is, and a lot of people in the chat were like, "You need to show these in the ad read." Which next
Yeah,
time we do an
that's
ad
how
read,
it should
transfer, I
look.
will, because they think it's a giant ass
How about
headset.
sound, Tim? Where does the sound come from? One of those?
There's both speakers here and here. This is not sponsored, by the way.
Now,
I just
can
legit
I-
love these things.
Now on a plane,
Yeah.
do I have to wear headphones, or are they low enough where I can hear them and I wouldn't be disturbing others?
You shouldn't do that though. Put
You
in some,
should put in some
AirPods like
headphones?
an adult.
So
Yeah.
you go headphones plus that.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
AirPods, put those things on. You're sitting pretty.
fun.
Yeah, and he's playing playing right now.
Okay. Okay.
Not sponsored.
Very cool stuff there. Of course, guys, as we start to round down the episode, we'll get through a couple more super chats. But Tim, Parris, Andy, any things that you have left on the table during this review of the ROG Xbox Ally X that you would like to make sure we get out there to the best friends and the viewers and watchers out there?
I'm very excited about
Battery.
this. Sorry, go for it, Parris.
Oh no, I was just saying battery. It's pretty much the same as it was on the original Ally X as well. It's an 80-watt battery, and you're trying to play a big AAA game like Cyberpunk. You're getting around 2 hours at the highest, wattage, the turbo performance level that you get in ARM Recreate. So around about 2 hours, as an example. But something like Hades 2 or Silksong or whatever, I was getting 4 plus 5 hours on it.
Angled screen, somebody wrote in there. Is there a difference on the screen angle there, Tim, that you noticed from the Steam Deck to this?
No.
Okay.
Oh, like viewing angles?
Oh, is that what they're asking?
Probably. Because it's
I
not
don't
like
know.
a curved screen or
They're
anything.
both great.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking playing Elden Ring. This is great. Holy shit, I'm in the ancient ruins of Raoul.
Do you hear it though, Mike?
No, I can't hear it at all.
I hear it a little bit coming.
You can hear it
Yeah.
just a little bit? Okay,
Yeah.
so you can't do it.
It's one of those like bone sensory things.
That's
that-
sick.
I'm
That's
playing
sick.
native Elden Ring, everybody, at 39 frames per second. Let's go.
Let's finish it
Oh.
off with
my final
Oh, yeah.
thoughts here. I just want to say, like, I'm very excited about this device, and while I don't think it's for me, I do think it is for people. I just think it comes down to Xbox continuing to support this OS, this full screen experience.
Game crashed. Elden Ring crashed. I went into the settings. Game crashed.
But I do think that it's important for more players to be in the space and for the players that are already in it to continue to innovate. And for the big dogs, the ones that are providing the games, the software, the first parties, people like Microsoft or people like Steam to care about making sure that games are verified and supported on these devices. I believe they're going to continue to do that. And I do think that there's a good product here, but I just don't think it is for most people listening to this show, this specific kind of funny games cast. Like, it's probably not for you, and that's okay. But if you live and breathe Game Pass and you live and breathe Xbox and you want nothing to do, or you've had nothing to do with Steam in the past, but you might want to now, I do think that you should weigh the option. I think that there's a lot of value here. I do think it plays games incredibly well. And I think that Xbox fans are going to like this. They're going to like the way that the controller feels. They're going to like the buttons. They're going to like all that stuff. I'm not that guy. I am a Steam Deck guy, and I can't believe I'm a Steam Deck guy, Andy.
Dude, Greg's going to be so angry about this Y button. Like, it just gets stuck on command now. Look at that.
On command.
There it is. It is stuck. I'm looking at it.
He's going to blame you.
He's definitely going to blame you.
He has been. And it's like, fuck you. I didn't do anything. Playing Hades, man. I'm not even pushing it hard.
Parris, any final thoughts?
I mean, I think Tim nailed it pretty well. I'm excited about the device. I mean, we've obviously listed out the things that we've had issue with, and I think most of them are correctable. It's still going to take a little bit of time to get that done. I would also say, yeah, if you are invested in the Xbox ecosystem, you use Game Pass, this is a device for you. You're going to like it. Let's just take price and stick it over there for just a second. The hardware itself is great. The software still needs a little bit of work. But once you're actually in playing the games, I had a great time. Great time every time. I never had a bad experience while I was playing a game. Again, frame rates, depending on how the performance was, I was getting anywhere between 30 to over 60 frames per second in these games. It was fine. I really enjoyed that. It just needs to get some of the annoying little tinkering out of the way, and I think this will be a really great experience for people.
Andy, finish us off.
Oh man, you don't want to know, like, because like here's the thing. When I found out today was the review, I was very happy and relieved that I don't have to use it anymore. That's where I'm at with it. Like, because I was like, all right, my gaming time, if I'm not streaming, I'm playing shit for review, and I gotta use this device. So I have to play those games for review on this device, and I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. That's where I'm at with it. I'm happy to not use it anymore. Greg will take it back, and he'll blame me for the sticky Y button.
Brett Hunter writes in before we go and says, birthday tax 33. Decided to treat myself to the Xbox Ally X. Can't wait till tomorrow. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We're excited for all of you tomorrow.
Sorry,
jump in.
One last question, because I feel like we should ask this. Mike, you are like an Xbox guy in my mind. I know maybe
I wanted this so bad.
But here's the thing. I don't think of you as a handheld guy. I think of you definitely more as like I'm sitting at the desk playing games. So I don't know if there's ever a way, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think any device is going to make you a handheld guy. But hearing all of this, what's it do for you? Are you excited for this thing?
Well, I've been doing a lot of handheld gaming since the Switch 2 came out, and Andy got me really into Hollow Knight Silksong. I would watch an Andy stream and play my Steam Deck a lot in bed. And so I've been riding the high of a handheld. The dream of an Xbox handheld has always been there since the early 2000s. And now hearing your review and impressions, I'm a little more on the fence than I was. I was definitely ready to jump over the fence and give them $1,000 of my hard-earned dollars and see where I'd go. But right now, I'm a little concerned. I think I need a little time looking over your shoulder. Maybe check out some more reviews. I'm gonna give you mine. As I was.
I'm gonna give you mine, Mike. You get mine, but I want you to like really like get it. I want it to go to somebody at Kind of Funny that is going to love this thing and like have it be their handheld device. Because I'm sure somebody here it will be for them, and it might be you, Mike.
Go ahead.
I think Parris is gonna teach me.
I don't know if I'm going to teach you. Just one other feature we forgot to mention in this. We talked about GeForce Now as far as cloud streaming goes, but games that you own that are cloud stream enabled, and this goes into the whole what's native, can you play on here, what you can't. So the games that you can't natively play on this, like The Witcher 3, I own on Xbox digitally, right? So it shows up in one of my recently plays. So I was able to navigate that. It sees it. I click play. It cloud streams immediately through that. I thought that was slick. It worked, no problems at all. So anything that you have in Game Pass that you can cloud stream, any games that you own digitally that are cloud stream enabled, you can play through this device as well. So it does open up more of the Xbox library to you for games that currently won't be playable on this. And obviously they might one day do some kind of weird backwards compatibility emulation. But for now, those games you can cloud stream on this, and it worked pretty well.
I know Greg's stoked to get it back, but as far as Mike liking it, I think there's like going to be a little bit too much tinkering for you to like.
You made me worried of.
Yeah.
I wanted to turn on and I wanted to look like my Xbox. I wanted to go through my library and just bang on that. If I want to jump over to Steam, which I've invested a lot of dollars in, I want a quick button swap over to that. I want to see the games. Play that. I do not want to get lost in an armory crate, needing a Windows settings, having a shutdown. The best part about my Steam Deck is it puts a little exclamation point at the top of the screen that says, "Hey, Mike, you need an update." And I click that button and it updates, it shuts down, turns back on, and I'm in gaming, right? If I want to get weird, I can get as deep as I want. But I want this as surface level as possible. I need this to turn on, welcome me with my Xbox icon, and I'm off in gaming, and I never question. That's what I want.
So Mike, what you're saying, I know we're wrapping this up. I'll make this quick, but that's the whole point. And that's why when I say I still prefer the Steam Deck, it's because of that, the simplicity of it. I get right to gaming. If I want to get freaky and get weird, I can go do that, but I don't have to. Whereas this, you still got to tinker a little bit to do it. And to the whole point about Xbox and where this is headed, I think this is them setting up the pieces that a couple years from now, when they're ready to say we're in the next gen and whatever their hardware strategy looks like, this will be the template to get there to exactly what Mike's saying. You're going to press the button, be it a handheld, console, or whatever. It's going to bring up this experience. If I want to pull in Steam, I can do that, play those games. If I want to get weird, I can, but I won't have to. And that is the current advantage that Steam has right now over what Xbox has introduced with this new full screen experience.
It's an exciting time. It's a new time. It's a new generation. That's the best part of it, is I am at the edge of my seat, excited for all the bells and whistles that all these companies are putting out in front of us and saying, hey, we want to vie for your attention. We want your money. We got something cool here. And then I want Andy and Tim and Parris, and I want the audience to come to me and be like, this shit is dope, Mike. And then I play it and I go, that shit is dope. But I also don't fucking want a lot of the shit that's going on here. So let me be real with you. But with that, that has been our ROG Xbox Ally X review. Please let us know in the comments below. Are you jumping in? Are you buying this day one? Are you trepidatious about this? Are you looking forward to more reviews? Are you jumping in the future? Let us know where you stand on the PC handheld gaming side of things. We have some really great content coming for you the rest of the day. I'm going to sit down with Bennett Foddy and race him in baby steps while doing an interview all about the game and his career in the gaming space. So stay tuned to that. If you're live on Twitch, you don't got to go anywhere. If you're on YouTube, a brand new link. We have plenty more awesome content. We had a great Kind of Funny podcast yesterday. What a fantastic time.
Oh, yeah. Good times.
Great Gamescast, great Games Daily. Go check out all the Kind of Funny reviews, content that you can find. We'll catch you back here tomorrow, gamers. Goodbye.